Hello everybody, my name is Game Lord of 4 and welcome back to Battlefront 2, and we are obviously joined by Sabertooth Gaming.
Hello there.
And it is of course that time of the week where we talk about Mandalorian and Bad Batch, but we're not talking about Bad Batch this week. We're going to save that for next week, and it's going to be a different time. The reason we couldn't do last week, one of the talks last week, is because we were both busy schedule-wise.
We are very busy folk.
Yes. Me coming to the end of year of college, so I have all my exam stuff to hand in, and Saber works.
I like the way you're like, yeah, me being youthful and exuberant, my whole life ahead of me. He is slowly plowing his way towards the end of existence.
I mean, I wasn't going that far, but okay.
Well, we always like to keep it upbeat and bright, so...
Yeah. Anyhow,
this is
so
the
yeah,
way.
we're just gonna talk about the last two Mandalorian episodes. Only gonna try and keep it to an hour. And we're gonna be playing Starfighter Assault mainly because we never really focus when we're playing this.
That is true. Because I know I'm so bad at it anyway, so I don't bother concentrating.
Yeah. And we noticed the last times we've done this when we've played like co-op or Hero Villains, we mainly focus on the gameplay and not talking, so yes. So episode 4. Let me get the title up. Thank you, Fitness. Darth Vader could probably deadlift 100.
I mean, he could probably deadlift anything, really, so...
Yeah, just the power of the Force. So episode... I'm getting it up now. Episode... Chapter 20, The Foundling. Din Djarin returns to the hidden Mandalorian covert. So, this episode was interesting at the beginning. So it opens with Bo-Katan basically just walking around on the beach watching the different Mandalorians of different ages sparring it out with the different weapons and the different techniques. And it after she's done all this, it cuts to Grogu, and he's playing in the sand, and it's funny because the he's playing with these little pebbles that are basically like hermit crabs, but it sort of reminded me of, you know, in Rebels, the spider things in the base.
Yes.
It sort of reminded me of that. But I know when I was watching Star Wars Theory, I think he referenced something other than those creatures, but that's what it reminded me of instantly.
Well, it seemed to me like it was very much a fake out. You were meant to think he's moving these rocks with the Force and everything. Nah, he's just sat there trying to eat the things.
Yeah, that's Grogu. He mainly tries and eats most things that move, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Probably not the best thing to do in life, but you know.
Like, I had a sort of quote of Anakin there that I wanted to paraphrase.
Go on.
You know when he goes, "I don't believe that. You're starting to sound like a separatist." When you said eating anything that moves isn't a good approach in life, I was like, I don't believe that. You're starting to sound like a vegetarian. We don't stand for separatists or vegetarians.
I like how separatists and vegetarians are in the same bracket.
They are. Traitor!
But yeah, so Din basically then comes along and just says, right, look, you can't be playing around anymore. You've got, if you want to be accepted by the covert, you've got to learn how to fight. So he immediately throws him into a fight with someone that is like 3 times Grogu's size.
But Grogu was about 5 times his age.
That is also true. So, so he basically challenges it's the foundling from the first episode, the opening of the first episode. So, basically they fight with like training gauntlets, which is basically just paintballs.
Yeah, like little dart things, aren't they? But the
yes,
paintballs.
And I want a pair of those because that would be awesome to have in a paintball match.
Yeah.
Just says like, guys, he's out of ammo. Just full on like dead shot almost. But yeah. So basically, the rules are for this match. It is first to 3 wins, and so the foundling from the first episode gets 2 points on Grogu, and then Grogu, Din basically says to him just like, look, you can do stuff that they've never seen before. Just do it. Just like do what you're good.
Okay.
Do what you're good at. It's okay. Show him.
It's like he gives them permission, isn't it? He's like, it's okay. You can show him.
Yeah. But it's funny because Grogu, the first couple of points, keeps looking back at Din, just like, hello.
It's like he's looking for permission. He's like, he's going. Well,
and then once he's been given the permission, he basically does a leap behind him and then leap back and then gets 3 points immediately. And I kid you not, the first time I watched that, I was stood up for a good it's like when you watch your team get a score in football. It's like I was
they're called goals.
Yeah,
okay, they're called goals. Get the score.
Okay, look, it's been a while.
It's okay, mate. We're both tired. It's okay.
Yeah. So it was like that. I was just there, and my grandma in the next room's just like, "Shut up, trying to sleep." I'm just there. It's like, yeah, I probably should have kept it down, but anyhow, I was just proud of Grogu. I was just very proud of him.
I think in general, the whole sort of opening scene where you see them training, and especially because it's obviously the focus is on the kids, isn't it?
Yeah,
focus is on the kids training, and it all just sort of reminded me of. It's like a nice little nod to when in the prequel trilogy where we saw the younglings training. Yeah. It's like saying that we've seen what the younglings training in the Jedi are like. These are the younglings for the Mandalorians. It's a fact because they're basically, if you think about it, even the names, you've got younglings, you've got foundlings.
Let's just hope
you know
what
I mean.
There is a situation, but Mandalorian style.
So you do
have
Pink,
this. How you doing? Everything is going perfectly fine. Sorry, Saber.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got a good point there because they have I think they had I may or may not just be not remembering this correctly, but did they have some of it like with the Dathomir witches? They had like younglings of that. I don't think they did. I think I might be remembering.
Well, they had. Correctly. There was younger ones, but they were all just called sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were just all called Night Sisters, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always a focus on kids. Like in the Clone Wars, it's like Ahsoka had her own episodes.
But even in the Clone Wars,
the group of younglings.
There was there's a couple of episodes that focus on the kid clones, isn't there? The young clones and stuff.
Yeah,
that's the one where Boba Fett's in it.
Yeah.
You see young Boba Fett's hiding in with the clones.
Yeah.
So
those were good. I did like those episodes.
That was a good one actually. I like that. I like the ones where you saw Boba Fett when he was younger.
Yeah, it was interesting to see him because I thought I would never have expected to see him in any of those.
No.
But yeah, it was so after the done with fight, the kid storms off, and then a dragon comes along, which just picks him up and starts flying off with the kid to feed it. to feed its kids and stuff like that. And there are just like five Mandalorians jetpacks just chase after it. Din and Paz Vizsla are there. Not Paz Vizsla. Yeah, Paz Vizsla. I was about to say, no, it's Pre Vizsla. I'm just like, no, it's the other way around. Had it right the first time. I've just realised we're not even in a match.
Yeah, I have been saying it for a while.
That's the problem with, and that's a good thing, because I was focusing on the actual talk and not the gameplay, which probably isn't the best. I'm just gonna sink into my chair now. I swear I'm a good streamer. I swear.
I know what I'm doing, honestly.
I know. But yeah, so they basically, all the jetpacks run out of fuel as they're chasing the dragon. There's no other word to explain it. It's literally a dragon. So they then they all like basically hit the ground, and Bo-Katan in her gauntlet ship flies after the dragon. Now, an interesting point that one of my friends mentioned to me: why didn't Bo-Katan just shoot it, just get it there and then when she went to
So they actually make a reference a couple of times to the reason if they said, if we shoot it, it will kill the youngling. We've seen it happen before. So in other words, if they shot at the dragon, it would just automatically clench up and kill the youngling.
Yeah.
Foundling, sorry. So basically, if we shoot it, it's automatic, because even when they shot it and didn't, it automatically killed. And if not, the drop could still kill the kid anyway. So I'm not saying it makes sense, but they put a reason in.
Yeah.
Whether it makes sense or not, there's your reason. You can accept it or you cannot, but that's it. So they did address that.
Yeah. So yeah, hold on. How's stream been going? Stream has been going pretty good. Yeah, we're just talking about the last couple of Mandalorian episodes. So, but yeah, thank you for asking, Pink. And so Bo-Katan basically comes back just like, look, I've got all this information about where it is and stuff like that. Let's go get it. And they basically form up a hunting crew to go after the youngling. I mean, God damn it, you've got me doing it now.
Foundling. The kids. They're going after the kids.
They're going after the kid. Alright. And then after... So an interesting point gets brought up. Because they basically set up camp at the bottom of this mountain, cliff, whatever it's called. My brain is not working.
It's like an overlap at the top of the mountain, at the bottom of the mountain, isn't it, for them to...
And Bo-Katan asked Mando, just like, how do I eat in front of people without taking my helmet off? And he basically says, you can take it off, but just wait for others, like, you find a private place to go to, and stuff like that. Which I thought, okay, that's interesting, because obviously in the first season we see him take off his helmet to eat, but we didn't know if he was actually allowed to take off his helmet at that point. And then it wasn't really explained since that episode, really. But yeah, so we have that little bit touched up on, but beforehand, Paz Vizsla comes along and says, look, this hunting pie, you get to stay by the fire. And I found that interesting, because to me that made it not only that, like, they were showing that they respect her even though she's literally only just joined the covert, but that they respect her. I just said that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. It shows that they.
He got distracted because it said we were defeated. So.
Yeah. Red lights distract me.
Ooh, look at the shiny.
Oh, shiny. I'm like a magpie. Anyhow, we're just gonna keep that running so I don't forget to put us in another match.
Yeah, just keep going. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It shows that they sort of. Well, once she came in and she'd left her helmet on, and she'd bathed in the waters.
Yeah.
It does show how it was literally, well, she's one of us now. Okay. And it's like instantly. Yeah. It was almost like, and there's a lot of stuff in Star Wars, if you'll use the reference, that are very much linked to different religions and stuff. You know, in the same way as they say, "May the Force be with you," is the same as "May the Lord be with you." You know, that's there are deliberately nods, and even George Lucas has spoken about that a lot. And it's quite interesting in that what we sort of see with the Mandalorians going to these waters and being absolved. It's literally like the same baptism, as like when it's like a baptism, like you know, like or forgiveness mixed together. It's like you've been bathed in the waters, your sins are washed away. And in a sense, it's like right away, instantly, all the differences they had are gone now, and she's one of them, and it's that simple. Yeah. And it's an interesting way that they sort of accept her, and yeah, it does show, but also I think she takes the lead. You know, they're like, we don't know what to do, and she's like, well, we can do this. I can go after this, and it's like, well, it's your plan. It doesn't matter if it's my son. You're the lead.
And also, yeah, I think it's like, because she obviously knows how to lead from one, being part of Death Watch and basically being the second in command for Death Watch, and then being the leader of the Night Owls. She knows how to basically lead groups of people. Which is interesting, and we'll come back to that in the next episode when we talk about the next episode. So after they've had the meal and stuff like that, they basically start climbing up the mountain, and I just want to say they seem to really easily climb up that mountain in that armor.
Yeah, I was there going, nah.
Now, for both
I thought at least one of them was going to proper fall to their death.
Yeah, for Bo and Din, I thought, okay, they're lighter, two, the armor isn't as enclosed as Paz's is. And Paz is just there, like, higher on the mountain than them. And I'm just there, it's like, okay, one, you have that massive gun on your back. Two,
look at
his
the
armor,
size of him.
One, the size of you, the size of the gun you're holding on your back, and how your armor basically encases your body and isn't just the flat bits of armor that just stay on the one side of your body. How are you climbing up there so well?
It was a little bit unbelievable.
Yeah. But still, it was interesting. And it made sense why they didn't use the jetpacks to climb, because if they had woken it up or whatever. Not that actually seemed to matter, because it came out of nowhere after they climbed the mountain.
Yeah, I think that was a fake out though, wasn't it? That was sort of the fake out. It was like, we're going to make you believe that this is how it's going to go. And surprise, something completely different. It's over there instead.
Yeah, which just didn't make sense, because from what Bo said, that it had already landed in the nest.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's just like, the kid should already be dead.
The only thing I can think of to make it make sense is that what the life readings she was getting were the kids. So like she had readings that like right, it's there.
Yeah.
And you've got the three kids of the dragon would probably equate to the same heat energy as the main thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's the actual read, but that would make sense.
That's the most logical thing you can think of.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. But yeah, so as we were literally just saying, they climb up the thing. Paz goes in. It's revealed that the kid is his son, and they think this heat signature is obviously the kid.
Yeah.
But it turns out it's three children of the dragon, and then the dragon comes out of nowhere. Somehow the kid hasn't been swallowed. Yet the dragon roared as it came up. It doesn't make any logical sense.
Yeah, goes from absolute stealth to loudest thing you've ever seen.
But yet the kid hasn't been swallowed, so how does it just go hit? Unless it's like a bird, like birds.
Yeah, it's like it holds it in its mouth. I know there's quite a lot of animals that just hold their prey, and then they just chuck them out the mouth.
Yeah. So they save the kid. They don't save the kid. They have to chase down the dragon again. They basically
making climbing the mountain completely pointless.
Yeah. It was like, oh, okay, this is where it's going. No, it's something else is happening. Oh, we're just doing what we were doing at the start of the episode.
Yeah, we've just changed our mind now.
It's like, no, what if we did this? Aha, fake out. Fake out, fake out. It's like, okay, I think that's enough fake outs. This is more twist than an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
That's saying something.
Yeah. But yeah, and then... and they're basically tying it up with the wire and stuff like that. And I was just there watching that sequence, just like, why didn't you do this the first time?
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't you just use the cables the first time, and that would have saved...
You did have this option. You know, you could have just done that
so much trouble. But it's like... Oh, yeah, and somewhere in the fight with the dragon, Bo loses shoulder armor. We'll get back to that in a second. Din saves the kid. Everything's happy. They get back, and somehow they fit the whole team, this whole 6 Mandos, the whole team, and the 3 dragon kids. Bear in mind, these are big chickens.
Yeah, if you imagine, they're sort of like large, like at least
think
the size
of these as Godzilla proportioned chickens.
Yeah, it's like these are each at least the size of a full adult bull, and the way you see them getting out, it makes no sense at all that they fit in. Like, I thought it was cool that they'd sort of adopted.
But then the more you think of it,
it doesn't make sense.
And then in the next episode, you don't see them. So my prediction is they just made Kentucky Fried Dragon.
But they don't, because they actually call them foundlings.
Yes, but...
She actually says, I've brought you 3 foundlings. And they're all looking sort of shocked. And then she actually says, this is the way. Which would indicate they've adopted them as foundlings, because why would it matter what species they are? They're all foundlings.
But
so,
here's my question.
Where the hell are they?
Huh? Yes, where?
Where the hell are they?
2 questions. 1, where the hell are they? Question number 2. Oh, hold on, I've been removed from the game for some reason. Right, I'm trying to join back with you now. Yeah, I'm joining back with you now. There was no point in kicking me out. God damn it. So yeah, how the hell are they gonna speak the creed? If
they might not end. I don't think they need to worry about ending up on a helmet.
That's a lot of wasted Beskar.
Yeah, just like a big Beskar beak, just like
just Beskar chompers.
No, you know
the Mousers from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah.
Just make them look like that.
It would be quite cool if it actually all 3 of them spoke in a posh English accent. Like, you just come back in a couple of years and you see one of them.
After playing
just
Spark, I'll voice the kids.
Like, this is the way, good sir.
Oh yes, my good fellow, this is the way. Would you like some crumpets with that way?
'Tis the way, my good fellow.
We're allowed to make fun of English people. We are English.
Yeah, we're English. It's fine.
We're English. It's fine.
Or they sort of do like the Southern American, like, I do declare, Miss Daisy, this is the way. You know, it's like
they took our jobs.
Good show, old chap. Totally the way this is.
They took our way. They took the way.
I don't know why I went half Old English and half pirate there. The way this is our.
David Jones. Oh, we forgot.
We'll come to that next. We'll come to that next in the next episode. That's just exactly what it was.
I've completely forgotten we had another episode to talk about.
Yeah. Was that it? Is there any? There was. Oh yeah. So there was one more thing before that episode ended. Was getting a new armor?
Oh, there was. Well, there was two more things actually. One, they made another reference to "There's always a bigger fish."
Oh yes.
So the baby, not the baby dragon. Jesus Christ. The dragon gets eaten by. I think it's the crocodile from the first.
It's the big thing that's in the first episode.
It's the big thing that's.
Because I was like, "What's the point of that?" And then he turned up. I was like, "Really? That's the setup we were waiting for." But it made sense.
It sort of reminded me of the mosasaur from.
Yeah, in Jurassic
Park. When it's eating the
World.
pterodactyl.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like you literally just you ripped it off completely.
Yeah. That's not a reference. That's just a copy.
It's like, oh, copy my homework, but change it up a little so they don't think it's the same. So anyhow,
moving on.
Corporate wants you to find the difference between these two images. They're the same picture. So yeah, back to the main ending of the episode. Bo-Katan, obviously, as we mentioned before, loses one of her shoulder pieces, and the armor says, "Do you want me to imbue it with the Night Owl crest?" And
that's her standard crest.
Yeah, that's her standard crest. She's had that since the Clone Wars, since being in Death Watch. So after all this, she I say after all this as if I've just talked about a whole segment in the goddamn thing. So yeah, what the hell happened there? Hello guys, Ferocity Gaming. Hello guys. Hope you
Hello Ferocity.
Are well and having a good evening. We are well and we are having a good evening talking about Mandalorian. I'm assuming you know Ferocity.
I do know Ferocity.
He's been on my
stream
before, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's Saber, by the way. Hello, mate.
Saber's here.
Yeah, there you go.
So, as I said, the armor asks, do you want me to imbue it with the Night Owl crest? And she says, would it be possible to have both the Night Owl crest and the Mythosaur? And the armor... Go on, what were you saying?
No, I was just going to say, because she wants to keep the Night Owl one on her old armor, on the one side, but have the Mythosaur on the other side, doesn't she? Yeah.
And it's interesting because, obviously, she's seen the Mythosaur, and that means that, obviously, as prophecy states, a new era of Mandalore will come to fruition.
Yeah.
So the armorer says the Mythosaur is welcome to all.
Yeah, it's like it belongs to all of Mandalore.
Yeah, belongs to all of Mandalore, so anyone can have it. Which is interesting because, like, with other signets, you have to earn it. Like with the Mudhorn from the first season, which is what Din and now Grogu also have on their armor. We forgot to mention Grogu got a piece of armor plate. There was an Order 66C.
Kind of.
We forgot to mention the Order 66C.
It's basically a coaster. He gets a coaster.
He gets a coaster and put it on his chest. But the more important thing, we'll talk about the ending and then we'll go back to the Order 66 thing.
Wrap up the ending because we've got to talk about the Order 66.
She makes shoulder armor, puts a mythosaur on it, and then Bo-Katan starts saying, "Look, I've seen a mythosaur, but the armor at first, well, in this episode anyway, doesn't seem to be believing her that she's seeing it. Just like when you walked away,
it's like
you see many things.
It's like she responds as if she's saying it's a metaphor, like a metaphor.
Yeah.
As if, like, you know, like I found God type thing. It's like she goes, "Oh yeah,
it's
well
like,
that's what happens when
you see many things." Yeah.
Yeah. It's like she thinks it was like in a dream or a vision or
Yeah.
something. And in the end, she just decides to stop telling her as if, yeah, it was a vision. Because it's like, she's like, she's not going to believe me, so let's just not go any further.
And then it just pans over to the mythosaur skull again, like it did in the last episode. So, anyhow,
the best part of the entire episode.
Yeah. The return of good old the actor who plays Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
He is revealed to be the person who saves Grogu.
Yeah.
Which was interesting to say the least.
Yes.
Because I thought they were gonna go with someone that we know, but nope, it was someone who, unless you've seen, like, I think it was like a game show they did.
Yes.
It was a game show where his character basically hosted the game show. And
although apparently the show is kind of, although it's a game show, it is kind of canon. Star Wars canon.
It's sort of canon.
Which is really bizarre.
But yeah, so it's interesting, but yeah. So
the character, so the actor's name is Ahmed Best.
Ahmed Best, right.
He's the one who played Jar Jar Binks. The character he plays, the Jedi he plays, is called Kelren Beck. But there is another interesting twist to it. And that is that in Star Wars Episode 2, when you see Anakin and Obi-Wan chasing the bounty hunter into the nightclub, you actually see Ahmed Best playing a patron of the nightclub. He's just you actually see Anthony Daniels, who's the actor who plays C-3PO, and Ahmed Best, and they're both there, stood together, and the character that he plays in that nightclub is called Ahmed Beck, meaning the character he plays in Episode 2 and the character he plays in The Mandalorian have the same surname, which means they could actually be related.
Oh my god.
It basically could be the Jedi he plays in the prequel trilogy is the brother of that other guy, or, here's another possibility, he's actually that Jedi undercover working in that club. In the same way Obi-Wan becomes Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
So he actually
Can we also talk about Ahmed for a second, or is that too far for YouTube?
That's definitely wrong.
Okay.
But what that basically means is, one way or another, whether it be the same character or a relationship to him, like a family member, that Jedi was played by Ahmed Best, was always canon, all the way back in Episode 2.
Huh. That's interesting.
Which is huge, and I'm just gonna, because I know I've mainly stayed quiet, but I'm gonna have to geek out on this one.
Yeah, no.
The scene where he is brought out of the temple, it is very clear that he is particularly important because all the other, it's like there are multiple Jedi working together.
There are four Jedi defending him.
Yeah, he is valued, and then when they bring him up, and Ahmed Best's Jedi is waiting for him, who, by the way, looks absolutely badass in those robes.
Oh yeah,
like,
the little
got
the
this...
gold lace on
yeah,
the robe. I'm just saying, it's like, who the hell are you?
Yeah, you're important. You're important. Standard Jedi robes, but with this gold design on the robe. Absolutely gorgeous robes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he looks badass. Like, he looks so epic. And he pulls out 2 lightsabers, but he doesn't fight in the sort of fancy way.
He doesn't like spin him. He does swings.
It's like, yeah, it's like bang, bang, bang. He is epic.
So it's very.
With the lightsabers.
That scene was badass.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah. And what's especially interesting, so he manages to get Grogu on like a speeder bike thing, doesn't he, to a platform, and the platform he pulls into is where a Naboo starship is waiting.
Yeah.
And it's actually a bunch of Naboo guards that fight off the clones for them to get in. And someone I saw had commented, that is the starship that basically Jar Jar would have had as the representative of Naboo.
Oh,
in other words, Ahmed Best is actually flying off in Jar Jar Binks' starship with Grogu. He is in the ship that would have belonged to his other character.
I saw a thing saying, so Ahmed Best has played both a Jedi Master and a Sith Lord. And I'm just there, like, God damn it! I thought we got away from the goddamn Sith Lord, Jar Jar.
Honestly, there was so much thought and love in this. It was fantastic.
It came out and said, thank you for everyone for giving me like a warm welcome back. Just like,
yeah. And you know what? I'm never, not even playfully, I don't care. I will never say a single bad word about Jar Jar Binks ever again.
Oh no, never.
Not one. And quite frankly, I'm going to go on record now, and I will say this. On behalf of, I can't speak for anyone else, on behalf of myself, I want to formally apologise to Ahmed Best for all the, even though I've never, don't get me wrong, I never said anything to him, I never badmouthed the character online, but it doesn't matter. That was a culture. And even if I only said it directly to friends or family, I was a part of that culture. So I want to say right now, I want to apologise to Ahmed Best. He played a character he was given, and it's totally wrong that he was given so much grief for that character. Jar Jar Binks is no worse a character than the Ewoks or any other character in Star Wars that weren't as popular. No. And yet he's somehow stuck with Star Wars. Yeah. He somehow has shown that he loves Star Wars. He played a character in Episode 2, and now he has played, arguably, I am going to say this, maybe one of the top 5 Jedis we've seen on live screen. For the scene, he's been in one scene, and he legitimately seemed on par with Mace Windu in badassery.
Oh, yeah, he did.
So, automatically, he has got to be one of the hottest properties. If they said right now, by the way, we're making a Star Wars series, and it's about his Jedi, and it's I'm like, sound, I'm for that. I am for that right now. Make that show, or give him like a cameo role in flashbacks in the Ahsoka series. I want to see him become sort of the Philip Coulson of the Star Wars series, where he ties everything together.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Agents
like,
of
have
the
him
Republic.
be the one that links everything together. Every season, he appears in it somewhere. He was
Make
just
him Snoke.
So good.
Oh my God. I mean, you can for some reason.
Yeah, no, he's got his own character. Just make him him. Let's see him, and let's see him all the way through until I want to, at the end, he sacrifices his life to save Grogu. And
which we know he doesn't really save him, because Moff Gideon has Grogu in his possession.
He does, but that doesn't mean he hasn't saved him. And then later on he's got Grogu. Or let's have it so that he doesn't die. Let's have him come back. Why not? Maybe he could even be one of the Jedi that have been captured and, frozen but he's still alive.
You mean in Kenobi?
Yeah. You could see, we could see him at different points. I don't care. I don't care how they justify, how they explain it. I want to see Ahmed Best as a Jedi over and over again, because that was just one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go. You want to wrap up your thoughts on the that scene? And then, because we've still got another one to continue, and I haven't got long.
As we were saying with the whole way he fights with lightsabers, it is interesting because we're used to seeing people when they block with a lightsaber, they do swing it, and they like spin it sometimes as well and stuff like that. But he's basically slashing at them, but very precise, very very strong slashes. So it is very, very interesting how he fights and blocks with lightsabers, and I am all for him. And I will say, like you have, apologies to Ahmed Best. I have said stuff against Jar Jar, because I do remember as a kid I absolutely loved Jar Jar, but then as I grew up he just became intolerable. But I will never say anything bad about the character again. And a big warm welcome back to Ahmed Best.
Also, I do know that he voiced Jar Jar in the Clone Wars, and I will say his episode where he thinks he pretends to be a Jedi.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Maybe one of the best, maybe one of the top 10 episodes in Clone Wars, outside of the main story arc ones, like with Darth Maul and stuff. If you eliminate all those main story arc ones,
that episode is hilarious. I do like how
one of the best.
Even the droids are just like, oh my god, it's a Jedi.
Yeah, he is so cool, isn't it?
And he's just fumbling around, and he just proves them like several times he's clearly not a Jedi. Yet they just say it's like, oh my god. But yeah, that episode is hilarious. But yeah, so we're done with the episode.
Yeah,
overall,
definitely.
Episode was a good one. Grogu backstory bit was good. Enjoyed watching that. Yada yada yada. Episode 5, the Pirates of the Caribbean. No.
No, it is. It is.
The Pirates of the Outer Rim. Da 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 da. Can someone please make a mixture of the Pirates of the Caribbean theme and the Mandalorian theme? That would be amazing. Da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum.
I just really wanted a scene where one of the pirates on board the ship was stood in the background going, I got a jar of spice, I've got a jar of spice.
Yeah. Got it. But yeah, so it was interesting. The pirates, as that I've seen in the first episode, they come back, like we said they would, and I'm sort of glad that it's come back like not too late in the season, that we're not missing too much of the finale.
Get out of the way, it's done.
We got out of the way, it's done. That's great. That way we've not just got a random filler episode in the middle of the season finale, and as it's leading up to the finale, which is good. So it starts off with the pirates attack. Can't remember the name of the planet, so don't ask me the name.
Yeah, the planet that Apollo Creed's on.
What?
That guy, the one who's his friend on that planet.
Oh my god, it is.
He plays Apollo Creed in Rocky.
Oh my god, I've never noticed that until you just said it.
Yeah, because he's the guy from Predator.
Oh my god!
Did you not notice that either?
Nope.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's the one who does he's Dylan. Where he does the handshake, the arm wrestle handshake.
You son of a.
And he does the arm wrestle handshake thing from the meme.
Oh my god!
That's him. Have you not noticed that?
No.
Yeah.
In my defense, he's not as bulky as he was, and 2, he does have a beard.
Yeah. More in your defense, all those films came out before you were born, so
yes.
you know.
And I couldn't and I didn't really connect the dots when I was watching them. Oh my
Yeah,
god!
in the first season, when I saw him, I absolutely marked out because I absolutely loved him in those
How is
films.
it
And
you're
I was
only
like,
mentioning it to me now then?
dude, this comes under the really everyone knows category. So I was like,
apart
what?
from everybody who is me.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Dear God. Anyhow, you want to continue talking about the episode? What's like wrap my head around this revelation?
Right, this was it was a pretty basic. I say basic. I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean like as in that's so basic. I mean, once you saw the intro to the episode and it was showing you all the stuff about the pirates from the start, you knew where the episode was going and exactly where you thought it was going to go. You'd be right. The pirates come. They come to take over the town. Obviously, as he said, they're not linked to the New Republic. They're independent. So there's no one that will actually help them. So they're in this pickle. This big ship is above them, attacking the town and taking advantage of the town. It's like the standard. You used to see it in loads of like black and white films and westerns where you'd have this big gang that comes into town and scares off the people that live in the town and take over it. And they look for someone to come and help them. Yeah. And they try and contact someone who's a part of one of the X-wing pilots we saw in the previous seasons.
The one from the episode with the ice planet.
Yes. And he wants to try and help, but basically what we start to see is how the New Republic is a bureaucracy, and it's kind of a mess. It kind of hasn't got a clue. And in the end, he ends up going straight to Coruscant himself to ask permission to intervene and to get some backup. And we do briefly see the woman who works for Moff Gideon.
She sort of also like manipulates it in a way to her favor.
Yeah, because she basically sort of turns against it. She's like, oh, well, maybe if we leave them alone, they'll realize how important it is to side with us.
But he also makes a point. Just like he makes a point, just like, yeah, that's a very Empire way of thinking. And then the guy who works for the Republic's like, that's a bit too far there. I'm just saying, it's like,
almost like that's racist. It was like it was a similar to that's racist kind of thing. It's like you're not allowed to say that. That's bigoted. And he's like, but she was part of the Empire, and she is still sounding like someone. She's just happened to
still part of the Empire.
Yeah. It's almost like once someone's been freed from the Empire, you're not allowed to point out that they're part of the Empire.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little metaphor for things.
It's like she says something about just like I left the Empire, just like, and he goes, no, you were captured.
Yeah.
It's like when no choice.
It was a really good metaphor for sometimes in real life where someone tries to point out someone's past and go, oh, you can't bring that up, that's bad, that's mean of you. No, it's also the truth.
That's bad, okay.
Basically, he gets told, yeah, we're not going to help, really. Yeah. So he basically, interestingly, he contacts the Mandalorians, or goes to them, finds them and asks them to intervene. And they're asking how he knows. And again, he points out, well, I've got an inside man.
And then R5 just strolls out. I'm just saying, it's like, what?
Which again reiterates that R5 is the R5 from A New Hope, the one whose motivator blows. But we'll cover that another time again. But so in the end, there's this big debate. Are they going to go? Are they not? The obviously, Din Djarin asks them to. Yeah. We get Mr. Visla comes out and says, why should we help him? Why should we?
You see, when he stepped out, I was just there, it's like, oh no. Because I
saw it.
I was thinking just like, I thought the thing was over, and then he just goes, because we're Mandalorians. I'm just there, it's like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. See, if you're City Gaming, good having you on the stream. Mate. But yeah, so he just comes along just like, we're Mandalorians, we fight for all this stuff, and yada yada yada. So I'm just there, it's like, okay, thank God we're not going backwards with the whole, like with Johnny and Danny, Cobra Kai and stuff like that. If that happened, I would just been there, just like, come on.
But yeah, and then we have big invasion that they go and fight, and
they go and fight.
Basically,
and my
they have
God,
a fight and they win it back.
Just like, dude, as filler as the episode was, that was a badass fight scene.
Oh yeah, because there's almost two battles, isn't there? There's the battle on the ground with most of the Mandalorians,
and then the battle on the sky.
Yeah, with he's got the N1 and she's in the Mandalorian sort of a
gauntlet.
That ship, and they're attacking this big sort of blockade-runner cruiser thing that's got fighters and it's a good fight.
Yeah,
as you say, it's filler, but it was a good fight.
Yeah.
But what's quite interesting, there's a couple of really quite interesting things towards the end, and that is, first of all,
hold on, before we start going into the end and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just want to point out we did have a cameo from someone in Rebels in this episode.
Well, did we?
Yes. It was confirmed in the credits that was Zeb.
What did this say in the credits, Zeb?
Yep.
Okay, I hadn't seen the credits, so I thought, as soon as I saw him, I thought, is that Zeb? Or is it just someone of the same species?
If you don't know what we're on about, basically there's like a sort of like an outpost bit with the X-Wing fighter pilot, and it's basically like a little bar bit, or something like that. And they're talking, and what's the species called?
Oh, I haven't got a clue.
Well, the purple hairless Wookiees, we'll call them that.
Yeah, with the massive ears.
With the massive ears comes along, and it turns out that was Zeb from Rebels, which is very interesting because of all the Rebels to be translated into live action, the fact that we saw him first, he is by far the hardest one to translate into live action.
It's also probably the one you would least expect for them to bother. Like, I don't mean that in disrespect, but
yeah. And also, he's the first CGI character on the Mandalorian, because they pride themselves. Well, I don't think he's the first, because I don't know if the
he won't be the first, but he's probably the biggest. It's probably the biggest.
I think humanoid-wise,
it's certainly the most complex character they've made in CGI.
And the Mandalorian show pride themselves on their practical aspects.
They have done a big focus on practical effects.
Like none of the armor CGI, none of like the creature costume CGI. It's either makeup or just costumes, which is what I'll be working in when I go into uni and stuff like that. So that'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, and so yeah, we had our first look at someone from the Rebels crew.
And there's been a lot of talk about multiple other Rebels being seen in live action. There was no talk of him.
No talk of him. But there are definitely talks of, obviously, Ezra, Sabine.
Yeah. In fact, there's even been sort of references as to who plays Ezra, might play Ezra.
Yeah, the guy from Aladdin.
Yeah, that's right. So there's been loads of nods to other characters.
Yeah.
But he hadn't been mentioned at all. So yeah, that's a big deal.
It was very interesting to see him back. So the rest of the episode goes out. So they're having a fight on the ground, and I'd like to say one of the best things in that fight of the ground was when the armorer snuck up on the group of pirates in the main office, and it basically paid homage to like the first season where the armorer just kicks ass.
Yeah,
it was just amazing to see that happen again, because I did really, and that was definitely one of my favorite parts in the finale of season 1. It was really cool. So they went back to town. They basically get a piece of land for the Mandalorians to live and stuff like that. And then I just flew into the side of that goddamn tower. Right, okay. So Paz Vizsla walks up to Bo-Katan and says, Diarma wants to speak to you. And they go down to the sewers where they were based in the first season.
Yeah.
And Diarma tells Bo-Katan, take off your helmet. And it was interesting because I was just like thrown off of it, just like...
Is that a trap or a trick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like thinking, does she know Bo-Katan's trying to play her or something like that? Because obviously that's what we all have been thinking since she first joined up with the thing. She's playing the long game, stuff like that. And so she takes off the helmet, and the armorer tells her, just like, if you've seen the Mythosaur, then the prophecy is coming to light, and you are going to lead a new age of Mandalore. So I don't think she recognizes Din as the true ruler of Mandalore with the Darksaber anymore. But from the looks of it, she didn't even recognize that to begin with.
No, but I think she also knows that Din doesn't want. He doesn't. The Darksaber, sorry, doesn't respond to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He may have it,
but it doesn't respond to him.
No. And also, as we've said in previous ones, Mythosaur trumps Darksaber.
Yeah.
It does. And he doesn't want it. And the reference she actually makes, and the reason she says you can take your helmet off, is basically what she's saying is, there's two lots of Mandalorians. There's the old style ones, like the really sort of regimented ones that have to have the helmet on, and there's the other ones. And actually, they're never going to reclaim Mandalore if they're divided. So the way she says it is basically, you're the crossover. You can have your helmet off like they do, but you've also proven that you respect our culture.
Yeah.
So she sends her off to basically find the other Mandalorians. Yeah. And they're basically offered a place on that planet. So that planet is basically their new home for now.
Yeah.
Like a piece of that land is like New Mandalore or something.
So basically, Bo's basically sent off now to go get other people onto that planet, I'm guessing. So it'll be interesting because we'll possibly see like the rest of the Night Owls from the second season come back. And it'll be interesting because people have said that Boba Fett is going to make a cameo. And it's been rumored he's going to make a cameo. So this might be the way that he obviously has his cameo. Like we might see Bo go talk to him, just like, we're reclaiming Mandalore. If you want to join, come along. Whether he chooses to go or not is another thing, because he seems pretty happy on Tatooine.
Yeah. He's got his own little thing going on.
He's got his own little thing going on. So him and Bo really seem to be on the best of terms anyway from season 2, from the looks of season 2. So yeah. So it'd be interesting. But yeah. Another thing to add, at the end, the X-Wing pilot is flying along, just in space, and you see a Imperial transport ship, which I think the Republic are now using as transport ships for their own, which is interesting because like maybe they didn't have transport ships before them, but they do.
Yeah, it just looked like it's an Imperial shuttle, wasn't it?
It was Imperial shuttle, so it's definitely Imperial, but the Republic were using it, and they were transporting Moff Gideon on.
That's just asking for trouble, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but we see that the Imperial shuttle has been breached, like the hull's been breached, the crew inside is dead. So he sends a probe droid out, and they basically go in, no body of Moff Gideon's, so Moff Gideon has been taken. There's no bodies of anyone who was left of from whoever took him and stuff like that, so it's very clearly a massacre to get Moff Gideon out. But as he's looking for the ship to see if anybody's... I'm just going to quit that now whilst we're closing up, because we've hit the hour mark.
Okay.
So I don't really start something when we're almost doing it now.
Dude, I've been in a fight for... I've been still in a game for ages here.
I got kicked out, mate.
Oh, right, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so as he's going to see if there's any sign of who took Gideon, he looks on the wall, and embedded on the wall is Beskar. So it's very interesting. So I watched Star Wars Theory's video on this, and he says there's 3 possibilities it could be. It could be 1, some remnants of Death Watch could have come to take him, because at one point he did have the Darksaber, and maybe he earned some following from Mandalorians because of it, especially Death Watch, because they seem to not care who owns the Darksaber. They will follow whoever owns it. So it could have been Death Watch, which would be interesting to see. Another thing Star Wars Theory said was that it was Sabine, and the reason he was saying it was Sabine could be because she wants to know where Ezra is, and if, obviously, as we've been speculating, he knows where Thrawn is, then he knows where Ezra is as well. But this is all assuming Ezra and Thrawn are still together at this point, lost in space. But the other thing that Star Wars Theory said, which is the most probable one, if it's leading into Ahsoka, is Thrawn has got Gideon, and he's made Gideon leave Beskar alloy to frame the Mandalorians, which is a very Thrawn thing to do.
It is.
So don't know.
You could also, you bear in mind, you could also have the thing that the actual Mandalorians, like that had left here, have actually gone rogue.
Yeah.
Because she's gone looking for them. So who knows?
Yeah.
There's a few different options, but right now I think the best thing to do is not guess. It's ironic because that's what we want to do. Yeah. But I think at this point the best thing to do is, well, let's not guess. Let's just wait and see what it is.
The more we're going to be like, right, it's going to be this. We're going to have a mindset on it being that, and then it's not going to turn that, and then we're going to be disappointed. Like with the WandaVision thing, because I remember seeing someone just be like, oh, Magneto's going to show up, and yada yada yada. And I was thinking, that's going to be awesome, but no, we got a boner joke.
So yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. That's
if they make a boner joke in Star Wars, I ain't going to be happy.
No, I don't want a light boner joke.
Anyhow, so overall, the episode, as much filler as it was a pretty decent filler episode.
Yeah, it was entertaining still.
Yeah. Especially like the dogfight. I love seeing the dogfights in Mandalorian. So yeah. But yeah. So gonna leave it at that now.
Yeah.
What were your closing thoughts of the episode?
I think the previous episode, my closing thoughts are, I don't care about anything else. The Order 66 scene was legendary.
Yes.
My thoughts on this episode was, as far as we knew the pirates were going to come back into it, I wasn't that interested for their return, but as far as that episode ever could have been, this was fine. This was absolutely fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Still better than the third episode that we got, so yeah, it's all good. So yeah, so that's gonna be us for us to. That's gonna be it for us today.
Yeah.
So I will see you all. Oh well, thank you for coming. Thank you for Fitness, Pink Fire Hat, and Ferocity Gaming for showing up and being in the chat, saying hello to us. So it was good seeing you guys in chat. Thanks for anybody else who came along and just watched with us for a bit. As always, as I say, you don't have to say hi as long as you're here. That's company enough. And I'd like to say thank you to Saber for joining me for this stream, as always.
Pleasure as always, yeah, pleasure as always.
Go subscribe to him, he does retro reviews, he does my gem streams, especially at the minute. We are going to also be doing...
wrestling stuff at the moment.
Yes, because it's the lead up for WrestleMania. So, and I will be doing a YouTube Mania stream with Saber on the Sunday. So it's going to be very fun. Sleep patterns are going to be absolutely thrown off whack. But then again, when is it not for me? Yay, Insomniac. Anyhow, thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, please do like, consider subscribing to me, consider subscribing to Saber. As always, I've been the Game Lord of 4, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye!
Take care.